I felt like I was seeing things, hearing things, everything was echoing like I was going crazy. I felt so guilty and ashamed. Let's talk about sex. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'll be talking about the things I wish I knew before having a baby. So if you're interested in hearing it, stick around for the rest of the video. Okay, so I am a mother of two. I have a 2-year-old and a newly 1-year-old. So that's 2 under 3. My daughter is almost 3. So that's 2 under 3. And it has been a crazy journey, but amazing nonetheless. So from my experience and the experiences that has been shared with me by other moms, I'm just gonna let you guys know a couple of things that I really wish I knew before having a baby. So some of them you probably might already know, but let's just get into it. So first thing, I never knew how little sleep I would be getting. You know, I've always heard moms say, get all the sleep you can, or you're not gonna be sleeping when the baby comes. I thought it was just like, okay, whatever. But I had a rude awakening when I had my baby. For the first few months, it is hard. It's very hard. You have a baby that's so dependent on you. They have to be fed every 2 hours. So can you imagine that? Around the clock, even throughout the night, you have to be waking up. I used to like set my alarm so that I can just wake up on time to feed my baby, and I was literally getting up every 2 hours until it extended to 3 hours and so forth. So that's one of the first things. Sleep, it'll be hard to get some sleep, especially if you don't have enough help. So it's really important to have a whole community around you to help you, especially in those first few months, because it's very crucial, because you'll go insane. I'm telling you, I felt like I was hallucinating when I was running on 2 hours, 3 hours sleep a day. Like, I felt like I was seeing things, hearing things, everything was echoing like I was going crazy. So that's one thing you should consider. And also when the baby is colicky, oh my gosh, when they're going through that phase, it's so rough. They're crying, and especially they normally like cry more in the evenings going throughout the night. So sleep through the door. So be prepared for that if you should ever decide to have babies. So another thing that I wish I knew, because I've always heard moms say as they saw their baby, they connected instantly and it was just fireworks and hearts and I'm so in love. It's not always like that. So that's my second point, not instantly connecting with your baby. So for me, my first child, my daughter, she was long awaited. Let me just say that, because of my previous experiences with fertility and so forth. So she was long awaited and we were so excited to welcome her. And when I first saw her, because I had both C-sections, so when I saw her, I was just overjoyed. I was so happy to hold her, and she was just so precious, and love her. But my second pregnancy, I don't know, when my son came, I was like, who's this stranger? I don't know you. Like, I don't know, I felt so guilty too that I was not feeling that instant connection, like he's my whole world, to put into words. I felt so guilty and ashamed because it took days and maybe weeks for me to really connect with him and feel that mother-son or mother-child bond. So that's also one thing that a few women experience. Don't feel guilty. Don't feel, it's natural. Some people it's instantly, and with other people, I guess it takes time. So with me and my second child, it did take some time for me to feel that bond. But now there's nothing to me like my baby boy. He is attached to me, and my daughter is just so attached to her father. So you just never know. Okay, so I have to talk about this one because I have been struggling with this for both postpartum journey, postpartum hair loss. Oh my gosh, I did not know that was a thing. It wasn't until I was actually going through it. I was like, why am I losing my whole hairline? Like, what is happening? After having kids, I noticed that my hairline started receding. I noticed that it was less full, starting losing, shedding especially my hairline a lot. And it made me feel so self-conscious. I started always doing like swoops just to hide the hairline until it grows back or come back in. So that is rough. There are numerous things that you could do to help with that. A lot of people, they still take their prenatals after they have their child. It helps with the growth of nails, hair, all that stuff that you needed before, you're gonna need it afterwards. So that's a little tip. Also, castor oil is good, and any other hair growth tonics that work for you, or you could check with a professional, I don't know. But that is one thing that I definitely went through. Another thing that I wish I knew, having bad mental health. The postpartum journey is very rough on your mental. Some people call it the mommy blues, or postpartum depression, or postpartum psychosis, whatever. Like, there's so many different types and different names. I've been through it after both pregnancies. After both pregnancies, it was just so rough for me. I'm still trying to recover after my second child. The lows are really low, and it's best to seek help. Some people, they feel so guilty in admitting that they are depressed, that they are sad after welcoming such a beautiful bundle of joy, but it's the reality. Your hormones are still trying to get back to normal. You're still like, you just went through a whole lot. So postpartum depression is a part of the after effects, and just seek professional help. That's the best way that you can combat whatever you're going through. Honestly, I didn't even know that I was going through it, because some days I would just be crying. Like, I love my baby so much. She and he, they bring me so much joy. Why am I so sad? Why can't I stop crying? Why am I going through this? Just know that it's for a season and it will get better. You'll feel so much better. Another thing is your loss of freedom. Listen, child. After kids, listen. Childless you is so much different from a parent you. Before, you had time for pleasure and leisure, but now you have a whole human taken care of. And now you just have to discuss with your partner anytime you want to go out alone or even with friends. You know, you have to make plans and make sure that everything is taken care of and your child is taken care of before you can do the things that you would like to do. So that is one of the things to expect after having kids. It's not just la la land, I can do whatever I want. No, you have a whole child taken care of. So if you want to hire a nanny, whatever you have to do, you have to just make plans and find a way around it so that you can have your free time. So freedom, much less after kids. And this brings me to my next point. It is important, and I can't stress it enough, it is important to have a life outside of your kids. Let me tell you, sometimes we get so caught up in taking care of our kids. Like, I'm guilty of that as well. But it's like our world revolves around them, like every day, day in and out. We're so concentrated on ensuring that they're okay, we neglect our own selves. But ask yourself, when your kids leave, what are you left with? That's something to think about. Find a hobby, try new things, go on a date with your partner. Just take some quality time away from your kids, some time for you, where you can find yourself again. Like postpartum, after having kids, it's like you're trying to find yourself once more. So it's very important to have some time away from the kids. Now let's get into it. Let's talk about sex. So your sex life will definitely change after having kids. So let me tell you. Firstly, after giving birth, your hormone is all over the place. It's trying to readjust and trying to get back to normal, like back to your pre-pregnancy state. And sometimes this can take weeks and up to months for everything to balance out, for you to feel like yourself again. Also, you might just not feel like yourself after giving birth. For some, it's the extra weight that they're not used to. And if you're breastfeeding, your breasts, they're sore. They are so sore. Sore. They are so sore. You don't want nobody touching those. Like, don't touch me. And also in my case, I had a C-section both times. So that's added concern for me. I just had this fear of reopening it. I just had a fear of causing damage. I just listen, I wouldn't let anyone touch me with a 10-foot pole. My advice would be to just be patient with yourself. And you can even try some little adjustments that will make, your experiences much easier and more comfortable. But there's no rush. It took me months, so to each their own. So also, being a default parent, I did not know that was a thing. So for those who don't know who a default parent is, it's when the child favors one parent over the other for comfort, affection, or whatever else they might see from you. They're always going to that parent. It can be so overwhelming to be the default parent, whether physically, mentally, emotionally, it takes a lot. So when I speak of the physical, you have less time for self-care, less time for rest, and that leads to complete exhaustion. And even for your mental and emotional, bearing the brunt of the parental duties, that can be very stressful. And if we're not careful, it can cause burnout, and worse, it can even lead to resentment. So this is where communication is crucial. You have to talk to your partner to make sure that you're on the same page, so you can discuss your roles and your expectations, laid out on the table, so that the weight is not leaning too much on one parent. So it's good to have communication. Communication is key. And for my final point, I wish I knew how fast the time flies. I felt like my kids were born yesterday. Now they're walking, talking, doing their own things, and getting into trouble. But it's good to treasure and savor every moment. And if possible, document, make sure you get it on camera, save it up for the future so you can look back and say, wow, we had some great memories, some great times. I really love documenting the journey because it goes by so quickly. And before you know it, they're off to college, they're moving out. Just the thought of that is just gonna make me cry. I can't imagine my babies growing up and leaving me. No, they're forever my baby. I just can't imagine it. But those are some things that I've learned along the way being a mom. There's so much more things that could be mentioned, but let me know in the comments down below if you relate to anything that I've said in this video. And if there's anything that I did not mention in the video, you can even share your experiences down below. Let us know the things that you went through after having kids. Thank you guys for watching today's video. Remember to like this video, share it, comment down below, and most of all, subscribe and turn on that bell so that you get notified whenever I post a new video. So until next time, guys, bye. Girl, now wait just a minute. I've got something to say, you should hear it. Oh, I'm happy to make time.